Do you know that your excuses are the one costing you six figures in sales? And let me tell you why. In 7 years running a real estate offices, plus 30 years of experience in sales, you guys are in the hall of shame. Why? Because you guys has any excuse to not do exactly what you need to do, and you're losing money every time that you make an excuse. And let me tell you why. Because for you guys, it's easier to say we cannot do it, and most of the excuses is the market is slow and the highest interest rate. How do you answer that question to your clients? Oh, I hear once, and that was almost a kill for me, because I spoke with an agent and I told them, hey, what are you doing to increase your sales? And they said that the clients told them that the interest rate were higher. And I said, okay, so what do you say? They said, yeah. I said, yes. You know, why do you say yes? Because the interest rates are high. What is the benefit of that? How can you change that and make it so much attractive for your client that he will say yes? Are you thinking why the interest rate is something that you can take so much advantage of it that you can change your transaction? This is my opinion. This is what I have been seeing. And I will tell you something else. Every single agent that I have any situation with the clients that they cannot close that deal, I finish closing every single deal. And the agents are the one making the compensation. Okay. So there's a way that you can transform one objection, because those things are objections. And why I call it the hall of shame is because you don't know the right information and the correct way to convert that objection to a yes, is because you are not in the good path. For the second one, it will be the product knowledge. If you do not know what you are working with, it doesn't matter what is a product in sales that you're working with. If you're not ready to use those objections on your favor, you're losing a lot of money. You're leaving the money on the table, because every time that you hear an objection is an opportunity to close the deal. But what happened? We have been bombarded, right? Or we have been thinking that every time that they have a objection, it's because they don't want it. No, it's not that. It's because you haven't provided what they need and convince them that they're making the right decision. But we are so more prepared to receive a no than a yes, that we're expecting the yes right away. But we haven't done our job. And I had to tell you, you are the one missing a lot of money. The other day, we have a situation. We have my husband builds houses. We have two realtors, one in each side. So I was not representing the sale, but I ended up finishing the transaction. Why? Because the buyer didn't want to deal with any of those realtors. Even he was paying the other one. I'm sorry, it was supposed to, but he has his own realtor. We have our own realtor, and the buyer requests to do the deal with me. It was a $96,000 compensation. It was a deal for $1.5 million home. Why? Because when they have any objection, I know how to be the part that negotiate that. I know how to be more listening, more have empathy. How can I get that objection and completely change it for the transaction to finish up in the closing table? The property was sold cash before we finished build it. That's the way that you should be finish a transaction, with elegance, with knowledge, with commitment. But you cannot say, oh, I cannot do this, or my client right now is not getting back to me, or how do you guys call it, MIA? Your client's MIA because you was not convinced. You do not know your knowledge, your product knowledge. You don't have an option for them to say yes, not to you, to make the decision. Because the thing is, if you're lacking on these things that I'm telling you right now, is the market is slow. The market is never slow. You have two options: it's buyers or it's seller. You had to find out which one is working for you. For example, I told you that I have 20 years plus in real estate experience. But when I started real estate, I paid one of the most, I would say, more impressive coaches of real estate, I think, in the nation. And it was so much that knowledge, that opportunity to know how to work with the objections, that I understand that every objection is not to me, it's not to my information that I pass by. I am not closing that transaction because I don't know how to convince or how to answer that question. Objections are opportunities. There's no way that you can lose over an objection, one transaction. The thing is that you don't know how to convert that. And the thing is that you're looking for everyone and you are comparing yourself with everyone. And let me tell you something, while you're blaming the market, blaming the interest rate, you're blaming that you don't have enough leads, that you don't have your website ready, or you don't have a good logo, or you don't like to do the videos and be in front of the camera. When you're talking like I'm too busy, you know what? I want you to do this. I want you to go in your social media and start looking for all those other agents that are selling 2 or 3 transactions in a month. Why? Because they are not paying attention to that. They are getting that information and they transform it, the information. They make it more elegant. They romanticize with the idea how this challenge will be even better for me to close the transaction and do exactly what I need to do. That's what you're lacking. And unfortunately, I have been with agents and I have been telling them, hey, what are you doing right now in your real estate? The interest rates are too high. My client doesn't qualify. My lender didn't close this deal. It's not the lender. It's not the client. It's not the market. It's you. And I want you to do this idea of the math equation. You guys remember when we had the exponentials? So A is you as an agent. So just have an idea. Your A, and I'm going to write it down because I want to be sure what I'm saying. Your A as an agent. You have the B as a client, right? You have the L as a lender. You have the M as a market. You have the P as a product knowledge. You have, let me say like a O for opportunity. You know that before that, every letter, you are the one that is there. So your A plus A and B, because you're coming with the buyer, plus your A with the buyer and the lender, plus you are with the client, you're the with the client, that is the buyer or the seller, and the market, plus you and the product knowledge and the buyer or the lender, plus you and the opportunity and the buyer or the seller. That means that you are in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your A times 6, your exponent is 6 times. That means that you are the common variable, the common element in the whole situation. So how is you are addressing an objection? How are you presenting yourself? How is your product knowledge? How is your communication skills? How is your presentation of your image in your social media, in your marketing? How you are when you say that the client is not ready? Are you having the right lender for your client? You're really asking the correct questions? Are you going with your client and the lender, or you just call the lender and drop the clients there? I know so many agents that they don't know how to present the lender to the clients. You need to find the way when you are doing a real estate, when you're doing sales, when you're doing a relationship, you need to guide through the process. You need to teach the elegant way. I will help you to make your dreams come true. I will not rest. I will not finish my transaction until I get the transactions that you really want. That was my slogan when I started. Because why? They are the more important part. The client, I am not. The compensation is not even that. You know what? After this whole thing that I just said as a math, I know that many of us doesn't like math, but I don't know what I was thinking about math. So if we're going to this, and I said that I'm the first A, right? Agent plus A and B, that is the agent as the buyer or the seller, plus the lender, plus the market, plus the best opportunity and the product knowledge. At the end, the result is always going to be the compensation. You don't need to stress that out. That will be there. I know agents that the clients tell them, hey, even they're going to pay you your compensation, I will give it to you something else. And they leave it in writing, and they pay for the agent's compensations because they saw how hard they work for them to get the dream home that they were looking for. They really was working with them. Why are you lacking? Why you're right now not making the numbers that you're supposed to be making? I had to call you and say that your excuses, your sales excuses are making you in the hole of shame. I'm tired to see agents and people with a lot much to do, so much potential, so much presentation, so much knowledge, wasting it because they're thinking in so many stuff that is not worth it. And another thing that I was going to tell you as well is that they said that the client is not ready. And I was going to talk about the lender, but this is what happened. Many of you agents, when you hear and know, like I do not have all my W-2s, 1099s, or my IRS taxes done, or that I don't have enough money in my bank account to do the closing or to buy the property, or my credit score is not too high. You guys, those no stop you. Your change, I would like you to see your faces on the mirror every time that a client tells you no. Because instead you see the no as a yes, because for example, the client says my credit is not ready. Perfect. When you would like to purchase? That's depend. Are you purchasing in 6 months, or you want to purchase something right away? Because we need to find out the way to make that possible. I can close that deal easily. I have a few ways to do it, and I have a few lenders to do it. There's so many programs out there. But do you know the programs? I have an agent that she told me once, I am not a lender and I don't need to know anything about lending. And I says, that's why she's always tell me that the market is not good. That is right now the market is not good, that the clients are not okay, or she cannot be able to close any more deals. It's because of that. Because if she knows financing, the knowledge, and she has been going in classes with the lenders, she can put it together some kind of ideas or try to see how she can put one or two products together to try to get a financing. I'm not telling you to tell you the clients, no. You will be meeting with your lender. Hey, what do you think about this and this and this, that how we can fix this? There's any way that we can make this possible? What would be my options? Because you have the clients, you have to funnel your clients. You have clients that are going to purchase right now. You have clients that you have to prepare them. You have clients that you have to find the product that they need as a property or as equipment or as a car or whatever you're selling, or even insurance. But maybe you don't have a structure the whole thing, because every person is different and every transaction is very peculiar because it's dependent on what they need. Are you ready to study? Are you ready to understand exactly what your clients need? Because you're the one losing the money right now. I want you to also do this. I want you first to see your face in the mirror when somebody tell you no. Or just try to go and ask someone to record you while you're trying to mimic an interview with your client. And someone is recording you and someone is talking to you and they're going to tell you no. They are going to give it to you so many objections. And I want you to see your face in the middle first. Second, if you don't have a good communication or good product knowledge, you will not be successful. You cannot sell, you cannot introduce, you cannot make love with something that you don't know. Unfortunate. I'm sorry. I have been seeing this so much times that I'm tired to repeat this, and finally I'm free to say it to the world because everybody needs to know this. Another thing is that I'm too busy. Where are you busy? If you're not making money, you're not busy at all. If you're busy because you're trying to make your website or you're trying to do your, I don't know, classes, I know brokerage that they try to keep people because they have to justify this. They have to give it to you a lot of classes because they are charging you the 75%, the 25% of your compensations because of the training, the classes, and things like that. And this is so funny because the other day I received an email for an agent that is not in my company anymore. Okay, that was before I closed it. I closed it like I told you this Friday. So it's 5/3 is May 30th. I closed it yesterday, May 29th. And I received an email like a week before, and like last week, and they says, hey, this and this and this, you should be sending to me this documentation, this document for us to continue with the transaction. And says, interesting. I didn't make any comment, just this. Please remove me from any communication with this agent. It's not with me in my office anymore. It was ridiculous. What they were saying is something that is so basic, and she was not doing it, and she's paying someone else to be trained and coached for. When she was in my office, she was 100% compensation. She wasn't paying anything, and she was doing even better. But anyways, the thing is that you need to be proud of what you're doing. Every single no is a challenge to go and close that transaction. It's not to walk away and let the client go because you wasn't able to close that deal. So it's on you. Another thing that I want to let you know is that I have 2 videos that you can see a few stuff or a few information about this. And it's the one that is a stop losing and a start closing. Start listing and start closing. You need to list those properties, but you need to know the market. If you don't know the product, you will not be able to do it. And you know what? You can maximize. Every time that you have a listing, you can potentially make twice. Are you ready to make money in real estate or in sales? You have so much opportunity. And something else happens to me. I went to the other day, and like 2 weeks ago, I went to a dealership and I called to another dealership. I'm trying to get a truck that my husband and I will want. And I tried to get a number that I know it was very hard to get, but I'm the client. And I was trying to see how these people can work with a very hard situation. And you know what? I haven't heard from them. And I says, I'm sorry, those numbers doesn't work for me. And I says, when people tell me that those numbers doesn't work for me, I need to find out the way that the numbers work for them. Why? Because at the end, I need the numbers to come up. I need that transaction being done because I'm going to make money about it. So I haven't heard for any of them. Not even options. Like, okay, yes, option is put more money down. I don't want to put money down. Find another way to do it. try to romanticize, maybe tell me, hey, instead to get this truck, I'm gonna give it to you a higher truck, more expensive, something like that with the same payment. Or maybe if you bring something more comfortable for you, like increasing just a little bit maybe the down payment, I can get something better. But there was no option. There was no opportunity. They did not win the objection. You know what? I can wait. But at the moment, I was ready to go and do something crazy, but they allow me to think twice. And I bet you many of your clients are doing the same thing. You give them the opportunity. And you know what's the worst thing is? That there's somebody else out there as a realtor or another lender that really know how to work the client. And you will find out that the client purchased with somebody else, closed the deal, get a compensation, and you did not. And you will ask yourself how they did it. They just work. They just made the decision to close the deal, and they do not care about the no. They make that thing possible. That's what they want you. That's when they make it. That's when they are best than you. And I have another video that is also called The CEO Worst Nightmare, $1 million down the drain. And I told you about this transaction that I was working with. It was not my transaction. I'm the wife of the builder, but at the same time, it's my home. We're building it. I cannot lose that deal. How can I put the things together? Nobody like it. But I was working with the buyer until I still working with him. We're still in the conversation. He changed his cell phone and he told me, hey, Rosalind, this is my new cell phone number. When you're creating relationship, when you love what you're doing, you do the things that are impossible to make people feel so important and so unique that it doesn't matter. And I will tell you this, when you are in the market, and the things that I cover in this video, and I want to go back, is the market excuse. It's just an excuse. Because when you see other agents, other offices breaking numbers, it's just an excuse. And I will tell you why. I was in the market when the COVID hit. The only state that opened in that process was Florida. New York closed, Los Angeles closed, and Texas closed. We were called the essential businesses. And I told all my agents to go there with Clorox, with hand sanitizer, with the mask and everything. I have an agent that is my brother that he closed $64,000. Why? Because he sold 6 properties, actually 8 properties, $6,000 in compensation, plus they have a $6,000 bonuses in each one. So he makes $64,000 in a month. We grow 3 times as a company. The agents that have been never sell. There was a few things going on. Before the market crash or before the COVID, the interest rate was in 5.25. Nobody knows this because nobody look at the statistics. Then when the market has this situation, the lenders has to find the way to start doing businesses, and the new construction too. So we had this developer that came with an amazing idea for the 2.5%. He started with the 2.9. And then what he did was, okay, I will give it to you 2.9. That was the biggest number that he put. For not even 2 or 3 weeks, he changed at 2.5 first year, and he increased it 3.5 second year, 4.5 in the third year, and then you will have your interest rate 5.5 for the rest of the 30 years of the loan. The market will be finding the way to be sexy and attractive for your clients. You just have to know the market. If you don't know the market, that's why you need to know the product knowledge. The product knowledge is not just the house. The product knowledge is everything related with the transaction. If you're doing sales, no matter what, you need to know what is happening out there with the companies that have the same products as you. When I was working on new construction, King of Nanyang Homes make us to go to the competition and see the numbers, how they have been sold, how many houses, what is the floor plan, the price range, the benefits, or any incentives. You need to know that. You need to find out the way to be competitive. You're not the only one trying to make a relationship and try to make sales, but you're the only one lacking in these things. I'm making the excuse, and you're right now in my hole of shame. So shame on you. Commitment. You don't have any commitment, because when you have a commitment, you know what you had to do. And no matter how many no people tell you, you will find the way to say yes to them and to you. And everything is a challenge, and everything is a process, and the process will pay out. But you need to be ready for that. And time management. Oh my gosh, you guys have so much excuses. Oh, I don't have time, or I forgot to call because I was busy. You're never busy. If you think that you're extremely busy, even when you're busy on the phone, you can text message, hey, give me just like a half an hour, give me 1 hour, whatever the time will be, and I'll get back to you. But right now I'm in a meeting, for example. So tell them that if they are in a meeting, that try them to give it to you the information that they need to know from you right now, and says, hey, thank you so much. I will reach out to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, I'm going to start working on what you asked me right now. That's elegant. That is value. And you need to learn this, because of this things, you are not making the money that you deserve it. And you do not deserve it because you don't have the knowledge. And you don't have the knowledge because you don't take the time to learn. I remember that many of the agents tell me, I would like to know exactly everything that you know. Hey, I give them free classes, 100% commission. They call me when they cannot close the deals, and they are not making the money that I was expecting that they would be making. And for me, I cannot say anything else. Why? Because I continue learning, I continue growing. Right now, I'm closing that, I'm doing this, and I'm building houses with my husband. We would like to also build the pools. Real estate take me to a different direction, but I continue growing. If I have clients, I will take care of the clients. Of course, I have the knowledge. I know how to do it. And now I want you to learn how to do it. You just need to do it. You just go there, very eager to do it, very loving what you're doing, and just do it. That's it. Every time that do you know that every time that you pick up the phone, oh, my phone, your phone is, depending on what the company that you're working, if you're working, I don't know, in medical supply or things like that, how much is your biggest compensation? That is how much a phone call is. And sometimes you pick up, hello. Oh no, I cannot do it today. Oh my gosh, I had this experience now that I say that. I have an agent that has been called for, now he's his partner, but it was a client. And he says, hey, Jose, sorry, can you come to this community because I want to purchase a house? And he says, oh no, I cannot do that today. Can I do it on Tuesday? And the guy hung on the phone. He called another agent. They closed the deal on a Wednesday. He was leaving the house. The house was ready to move in, and he was purchasing cash. So they get an arrangement with the new construction, and they close. Do you notice how he lose maybe $15,000 to $16,000 in compensation because he wasn't? He said, no, I can do that on Tuesday. The client called you, so the money called you. And the thing is that when you guys are calling it, you say, "Oh my gosh, God, give me the opportunity. I just need one client and I pay off my bills. Or I need one client to pay the rent. Or I need this one client to pay the car or pay off this or whatever, or go to vacations or send the money to," and you have the client in front of you, you say no. Or your attitude when you pick up the phone is not. So you're continue to be in the hole of shame, because that is the worst. That is the worst excuses that you could put on. So I will continue talking to you later on. But remember, I had 2 videos linked in for you to see it. It is a stop listing and start closing. And the other one is the CEO worst nightmare, is $1 million down to the drain. Is because the way that you related with your client. You can have your client if the deal is not done until you get your money cash from your compensation in your bank account, and it's under your name. In the meantime, even the client can remove you from the deal. And I have one happening that way. I have an agent that told the client that it was his best friend. She was even sleeping in his house. She says, "I want to purchase this condo." He offered his lender, and she has her own lender. Guys, if she has her own lender, you continue, let her working with her lender. Why? If something happened, it's her lender, not yours. It's her responsibility, not yours. Her escrow deposit is hers, is not yours. So you can save your reputation and any mistakes or any responsibility for any third party that you bring on the deal, but it will be responsible for it because she brought the client, the lender. The thing is that this lender that he brought to the deal would not go through. We were like this to lose everything. We need to close as soon as possible if the seller allowed us to do that, because the seller can claim the escrow deposit, and it was like a $15,000, something like that. So I had to go in the transaction because she found my email. I was his broker by that time. I had to put myself as an agent, working with the seller, working with the lender, and working with the title company to keep everything. We closed that deal in 7 days with her lender. Why not use her lender since the beginning? I do not know. You know what happened? It costs their friendship right there. So try to avoid to be so stubborn and just take advantage of whatever it is. If the client has it, use it. It doesn't work, just let them know since the beginning. Oh, it's perfect. You want to use your own inspector? That's perfect for me. That's not a problem. Are you using your own lender? That's perfect for me. In case something happened, I will have my team ready for you, because I know how we can close these deals. And that's it. Let them to assume their own responsibility. At the end, it's their money on the drain. If something happened, they will lose whatever they put it down. You just had to be there. You just had to be present. You just had to be the professional. That is what your work is. So thank you so much. I hope that you like this video. And if you don't like it, don't make more excuses, because you are losing 6 figures because you are not following and you are always saying something different, because what the market says is completely different what others are saying. Others know how to manage their time. Others know the product knowledge. Others know how to help the clients, and others are not that busy. That's why others are making money and you're not making money. So take care. My name is Rosalina Esquilin. I'm the CEO of business. Also, I am a mentor for real estate. I'm a real estate instructor. Like I said before, I have 7 years of experience as a broker, 20 as in real estate, and many years in sales. And I want you to be successful, and I want you to make this an amazing year for you. So take care. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.